Okay, welcome everybody to this week's episode of Magicians Without Borders Conversations. My name is Carlos López, and we're here with Tom Verner. How are you, Tom?
I'm terrific and very happy to be back here with you.
So cool, so cool, Tom. So, let me just check that everything is working. So,
Is my mic okay? My mic is fine?
yes, it sounds perfect. I have audio. I think we're good to go. So, Tom, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think we should talk a bit more about El Salvador. El Salvador was the beginning of so much for Magicians Without Borders. You know, it really changed the mission of Magicians Without Borders from just entertainment to education and empowerment. So it was a big moment in my life personally and in the life of Magicians Without Borders.
So cool. So cool. Yes. And I think we definitely should talk a little bit more about it. So I want to start with what you just said last time. That last time you through some unexpected encounters in a magic convention, you met this guy that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and it was pivotal in the story of Magicians Without Borders.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell that story, or do you want to wait for our mystery guest?
We should definitely let him tell the story. But right before he tells the story, I just want to say that I knew about him. His name is Devente Rosero. I knew about him, or I was introduced to him and his work through a video that a great, wonderful magician called Jeff McBride, during one of his magic live teachings on Mondays that he does live. He said he was going to talk about street magic, and he said that he was going to do an episode about it. And Devente Rosero, he was going to show a video that I'm going to show you a little bit about. And then he wanted to talk more about social magic and what we were doing back in the day. This was in 2012. So a long time ago, and I had the opportunity to be with him while he was doing the live class, because he was doing the class from here, from Bogota, Colombia, and he showed me this video, and I'm just going to show you the first minute or so, because it's actually one of the most inspiring magic videos that I could find online. And it's about the story of Devente, which is just amazing. So I'm just going to share.
Let me just get clear, Carlos. Jeff McBride was in Colombia and told you about this.
Yes, in 2012, he had a class, and he showed me this video that I'm going to share with you guys. So just a few minutes.
Okay.
I have a great time with my life, and I want to share it. I love living. I think that's infectious. It's something that you can't fake. I want my life, I want my work, my family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. Like your life will become better by making other lives better. Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us.
So yeah, that's just a little bit about to introduce him. So without further ado, I just want to welcome Devente Rosero to our conversation. So hey, Devente.
Oh my goodness, there he is.
How are you guys? Hi, Tom.
Hi. How am I doing? I'm doing better now that I'm seeing your face.
Same here. Hi, Carlos.
Hey, Devante, thank you for being with us. I know you're a very busy man, so we appreciate this a lot. And I just wanted to start by asking you to just introduce yourself a little bit, like who you are, what do you do, and we'll take it from there.
Good. So, my name is Devante. I go by Devante Magic. I'm a full-time magician. I have been so since I was 9 years old, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to do this full-time all over the world.
That's so cool. Where are you at now?
I live in New York, so that's where I am now. But I was just in Florida yesterday. I just got in yesterday.
Good. So thank you for joining us. How long has it been since you've talked to Tom?
Tom, I saw him maybe last at dinner, right? I think I popped in at dinner.
Yeah.
Some sort. Maybe 6 years, 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
When was that? When the kids from Colombia came, or when was that? What was that?
Oh, that was then the last time. Didn't we have a night together somewhere after this? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. And I can't remember when. I think it was when Carlos brought the kids from Colombia.
I believe so.
And you came in, and then we did something, and then you and I went out, maybe with 6, and I don't know, afterwards.
How many years ago, though?
Oh, my God. I can't. These days I say, oh, I was talking to him 3 months ago, and it turns out it was 3 years ago. You know? My sense of time has been altered a bit. So
there you go.
I just know I've been missing you, and I said something, I think, to Carlos. Maybe it was last week that before you came to El Salvador, Magicians Without Borders, I really thought of it as primarily entertaining, refugees and orphans and like that. And we started a little program in El Salvador. But then when you and Six joined the program, it took Magicians Without Borders to a completely new level, and it really made me see the power of kids learning magic. It was, I don't know, I thought I was maybe I'm downplaying it a little bit, but I thought it was just giving them something to do. But somehow when you joined, especially because you spoke such fluent, wonderful Spanish and could really connect with the kids, and you were about 1,000 years younger than me, you really connected with them. And somehow I just saw how magic could change people's lives. Learning, practicing, and performing magic. And I just want to thank you for that. Before we go on, I wanted to get that out of the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll probably get into the conversation of how obviously it changed my life in the same respect. But go ahead, Carlos, you were going to say. But thank you, Tom.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It's always so cool to see these moments of appreciation and gratitude in these conversations. I just love that we had this opportunity to appreciate everybody that's been a part of Magicians Without Borders in one way or another. And from my side also, Devante, like if I didn't see that video that night on 2012, probably I wouldn't have gotten connected to Magicians Without Borders, and my life would have been very different. So that's another very, very, very serendipitous thing that happened, and I wanted to thank you as well. And I just wanted to know, so when was the first time that you heard about Magicians Without Borders, and what were your thoughts about it? Do you remember the first time?
Yeah, the setup has to be just right so you can understand my mindset. So I'm about 18 years old, and I've sort of overcome one part of my life, which is sort of going from like hanging out in the streets and going down the wrong road in my life, to getting my act together, both literally in life and then literally in magic. I got an act together, and in this act, I tell my story of being in a gang and being involved in the street life. And a lot of the reason I did that was not my own doing. I wish I could take credit for it, but the directors of this documentary that they were filming on me, they knew my story. Their interest in me was this story. They thought that if I was going to compete in magic, trying to become the best in magic, that I should say that story. I didn't agree with them. I thought that the judges in the magic world would not relate. The people in the audience would probably not relate, and therefore I'd probably lose off of that. But I trusted them, and I did that act. And so I'm on my way to Nashville, Tennessee. And Nashville, Tennessee, in comparisons to New York, is very different. You know, I think there's a lot more, I would say, diversity in New York. And in Tennessee, you sort of have very consistent, you know, older white males, at least in the audience. So I
judges.
Yeah, and judges. And so I performed that act, and it was a very transformational act because it was telling my story, and I for the first time was saying my story on stage, and you know, there were tears in like my eyes, and I could see, you know, some people in the audience were tearing. But in my mind, this is the end of the
my eyes too.
This is the end of the documentary, and sort of the movie is all about how I'm going to go compete in the magic world and win. And I was sort of set, hopefully, to win. And of course, I get off stage, and you know, people are crying. People are having a great, have been touched by the story. And one of those individuals was Tom. And Tom always spoke about that night. He said, I was really touched by it. He was very emotional, he said to me. But he mentioned something about Magicians Without Borders, and I think we agreed that we would meet in the morning. And I said, okay, perfect, that works. So I didn't know exactly what it was, but I was sort of coming straight off stage, telling this story. The next morning, I get news that I didn't make it. I was cut. I didn't make it to third place, second place. I was not, which was really terrible news, especially for a kid like me who was really confident, who really thought I had an act together that was going to work. And I remember then going to meet with Tom, and in the back of my head, I'm like, you know, this stupid act, you know, I didn't win. I didn't get the prize. I didn't get to become the famous magician that I wanted to become through this. This is what it's in my mind, 18 years old, thinking, you know, you win this competition, all the magicians are going to respect you. So I sat down with Tom, and I had no idea what to expect. I remember, I don't think I had any idea what it was about. And then he began to tell me about Magicians Without Borders, and it just blew my mind that this was happening. It also blew my mind that it was so fitting to the story that I had just said. And I want to say that this is the way I always said the story. It almost felt like I met Tom, I trusted Tom, and Tom looked at me in the eyes and he said, if you trust me, you'll meet me at LaGuardia, you know, September 1st. And we were like in June. And I just thought that was so cool, because he didn't answer many questions. It wasn't like, where are we landing? Who are we staying with? You know, like there were no details on that end. It was just like, if you trust me, you'll be here at this airport, such and such date. And I said, yes. And that's where the roller coaster began.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy that with those details, you're like, yep, let's do it. Let's go. But as you said, it was something deeper, right? It touched something deeper in you than just hey, let's go perform. Maybe this is what I was supposed to do, and I think that's what Tom remembers the most when he met you, right? He said that when he met you, you said that what was it? He said
this is what I remember you saying, Devente. And I'm just thinking, I kind of forgot about the whole movie thing. Magic Man, was that what it was called? And what was the guy's name? Joshua or Jeremy or something like that?
So there was Jason and there was Ted.
Jason, right? Jason and Ted. And what a hell of a lot of pressure on you, you know? Like the end of the movie was already in their mind, you know, like they had been following you, and you're going to the magic shop, and you're becoming a magician, and your life has changed. and you're going to win the IBM big competition. That is crazy. There's enough enough pressure. So I remember when we had met the next morning, and I told you about Magicians Without Borders in El Salvador and the kids down there. You looked at me and you said, this is what I remember now. You said, I thought I came to Nashville to win the competition. Now I realize I came to Nashville to meet you and to go to El Salvador and to know what my magic is really for. Does that?
Yeah. I forgot that. I was about to get to it, but you got to it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I thought that I would say that. I thought I would say that later on. I remember that being the case. I forget if it was there or the airplane, because the airplane is another. And if I will, like even the second part of that was, yes, on two ends. One, I remember feeling like, I want to go to this place and I want to like get found by like somebody that knows what to do with me. You know what I mean? Whether that's now in my mind, I think my ego was thinking traveling the world on like some plane, and having fans somewhere. And when I met Tom, I realized it's the exact same dream, just without the egoistic sort of materialistic aspects of that.
Yeah.
You're really moving, because the part of traveling is leaving where you are to go other places for me. Because I had not traveled like that. That was the beginning of me traveling and loving to travel. Until before that, I was not traveling. And then that people want to come, that people want to see your magic. You're going to this place, and then that your magic is then going to be transformative was an absolute gift. But I remember getting on the plane and asking, Tom, I knew it was going to be a transformational experience. And I thought to myself, I want to leave whatever ego I have, checked in New York, leave it there, and really allow myself to experience El Salvador from an open mind, from a place of not what can this do for me, but how can I serve? And wow, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to hear that. Yeah, pretty cool to hear that. So you're feeling that this is an opportunity, that this is something that's going to help you grow in some way, and that you were going there. Maybe you thought you were gonna teach this kid something, and you were put there for a reason, and you're gonna be useful for them, right? In a way, and after going through it, right? Was that how you felt, or do you felt something different? Do you like afterwards? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean the whether the documentary liked it or not, that's how it actually ended, and it was a much better ending than they thought, which was that I found what it all meant for, what this whole thing was. Everything that I was chasing was found in El Salvador, and the thing that I was chasing, at least for me, was to bring value, to be significant, to what's the word I'm looking for, for lack of a better word right now, to add value. And when I realized, say that again. Meaning. Yeah. Yes. And when we went there, I realized that everything I ever wanted, the thing that you really want, the filling of the cup for you in life, was filled there, and it came from giving. So the power of giving was that was the first time I ever learned that or experienced that, and then it's never left me from there. It really made my life crystal clear on what it was about. That giving to them was almost cheating, because it was really giving to me a whole lot more. And I think Tom would agree. We go there and we're helping, but sort of like if you just look for a second, you'll see that they're feeding you just as much as you're feeding them.
And even more so, as you said.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Yeah. I think that's a realization. Is that a word in English? Yeah.
Realization?
For
sure.
You realize that maybe, and that's coming from me as well. I think that you're very empowered when you go to do something like that for your first time, right? And you're there, and you're like, I'm here by whatever reason. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to give them all that I can. But when you go through it, it's such a two-way street that at the end, I really feel that we are the ones that have the best part of it, meaning that we do get such a life-changing experience that it's just it doesn't even kind of it's kind of not fair. I don't know how to say it. Like, the words are difficult to express, because it's such a transformative experience, or it was for me, that you're like, I hope that they get at least a fraction of what I'm feeling, right? I think that's what that I think that there was such a big deal for me, that I hope that what I do has a fraction of the impact that it has had for me.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so over here we just saw it. I just want to put it again. So you were there, and this is just a picture of Tom and you and some of the kids there in Santa Ana El Salvador.
I'm gonna ask you for this picture afterward. That's crazy. Yeah.
There they are.
Do you guys? I don't know what year is this at. Do you guys have any idea?
Well, I don't know. What year do you think? Is it like 2008 or 9?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 2009, 2008.
I think it's 2008. I'm not sure, but there they all are.
That's like after you've met them for a while, or that was the first time?
That's the first. That looks like the first. I don't know. It all blends in because I was there every 5 months at one point.
Right.
Mhm.
I think this might be a little later, because little William Zumba is there, and I don't think he joined until a couple of years. He's right there in the front, right? That's William.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, everybody else. So I think that might have been the second trip, or who knows?
This would have been, yeah. I think this is the second trip. Agreed.
Yeah.
And do you have any vivid memories, like a specific memory of all the trips they've been, like, but a memory?
I have a whole bunch, but yeah, I can pick and choose for you.
Yeah.
Were you asking me or Tom?
Hey, you Devente.
Me.
Go ahead, Devente. Anything, whatever pops into your head.
So, I mean, the one that first popped into my head, because of Zubita, was the time that and this might have been the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that we went, where we developed the story behind his famous cup and ball and vase trick. So there's a trick, the ball in the vase, where you have a little top on a vase, you have a little red ball, and we worked on an act. So he would do a really good performance of that. And at the time, I had just come from myself writing the story about my life, and I felt, hey, one of the things I can help him do is write a story around his life and then take a magic trick and tell his story. And so Zubita gets up and tells a story about how he was walking down the street, and he saw a kid on the street crying, and he tells the little kid, why are you crying? You're usually so happy. And the little kid said, I'm really heartbroken. You wouldn't believe what happened. My mom committed suicide. Everything's falling apart. And Zubita says, oh, I've got something for you. And he pulls out a little bag, and he pulls out a vase and a ball. And he says, these Americans came to me and they helped me. And he says, he opens the vase. He says, imagine this little red ball is your heart. And so he puts it in his hand. And then he says that the kid stops him and says, no, you don't understand. I don't have a heart. I've lost it all. And then he said, I opened my hand and I realized he was saying the truth. And then he said, he caps up the vase, he closes it. And at the end, he says, you have to believe in yourself. You have to stay, positive, because with a little bit of magic, you can bring the love back. And the ball was back in the vase, and the kid stands up and they hug. And he says at the end of the story, the reason I know that kid so well is because that kid is me.
So cool.
And then he says the end. So that's a memorable one.
What a memory! What a memory, Devente. That's. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, that brings back so many memories for me, because I've seen it from so many points of view. Like being a teacher, like you just were, then being just there a spectator of somebody else's, a group of kids performing, and I know that's such an important moment for us as volunteer teachers. Just saying, he's there, and you are like for me, I'm very nervous, but I can't show the nervousness because I want them to feel secure, and it's such a roller coaster of emotions.
That ball and vase routine was that act of yours, in Nashville, in a one little trick, and I'm having a hard time remembering the specific details of the trick, but I remember a similar moment. Was it Christmas morning or something in the act? And it felt like that same kind of emotional power. I know that was true because that little boy was me. Somehow you had a moment like that in the act. I can't remember. Well, was it a Christmas setting?
Yeah, it was. So I talk about getting into magic as a young kid, and then it sort of goes full circle at the end. I'm back at the I take the snow, and the snow comes back from the beginning of the act.
Oh, that's right. You do the snowstorm in China.
Yeah. And I talk about being 8 years old, looking at the window during Christmas when I first got into magic.
Beautiful. Yeah.
No, in the video that I shared at the beginning, there's some pieces of that performance or what you're saying, and it's so powerful. I think it's very deep, very autobiographical, and that makes it so real. It's wonderful. At this point, I just want to hear the other side of the story. So I want to bring in somebody that was on the other side of you, Devente, meaning you were there, you went from the States, you wanted to do something, right? Because you spoke the language, Tom wanted your help. And so now I want to introduce one person that I have had the pleasure of also knowing him, and I just want to show you guys the first time where I met him. This is Peter Rodriguez. He is from El Salvador, and I had just met him a few minutes before, and it was like, hey, Peter, hey, hi, how are you? We're doing magic right now. And he's like, oh, let's, okay. And he just started performing right there, impromptu street magic, very hard to do. And I just want to welcome him because I want to hear the other side of the story. And we're going to see how we do this. We're going to try and do this in Spanglish. Entonces, Devente, un poquito de español. Janet, we're going to translate. Y bienvenido aquí a Peter. ¿Cómo estás, Peter?
Hola, hola. Qué gusto.
Hey!
¿Qué tal?
Oh, good. Sí, qué bueno. Hey, Peter, qué bonito. ¿Cómo estás?
Pues muy bien, gracias a Dios. Ya después de un año un poco difícil, bastante bien ahí todavía, con salud. Y eso es lo importante.
Qué bueno, qué bueno. Entonces, muchas gracias por tomarte tiempo de estar aquí con nosotros. Sé que ahorita
un gusto.
Gracias. Sé que tienes que estar trabajando ahorita, entonces te aprecio mucho que estés acá con nosotros un rato.
¿Qué trabajas? Sorry, I'm just going to start jumping in.
Sí.
What are you working? I see your shirt. It says Peter Rodriguez. His shirt says his name.
Yeah.
Real the dancers.
Yes.
Cuéntanos en qué estás trabajando.
Bueno, actualmente soy instructor como de Zumba. Aquí se le llama cardio baile. Entonces nos hemos dedicado a la danza últimamente. Ya llevo varios años también trabajando de esto, así que esto es lo que nos ha mantenido últimamente a flote.
Tom, just for everyone, he's sharing that he now works as an instructor, as a Zumba instructor, a cardio dance instructor, and I have seen very few people that have that level of energy that Peter has. He has uncontainable energy, and he's so contagious as well when he's on stage. So I can see why he's so good at it.
Yeah.
Peter, entonces, yo quiero escuchar el otro lado de la historia. Devente nos contó que él pues iba a ir a El Salvador y quería de magia. Porque
yo dije las cosas buenas, él va a decir las cosas malas. I said the good side. I said the good side. Now Peter will say the real side. So.
Entonces, queremos escuchar eso. Bueno, ¿y tú cuándo escuchaste por primera vez de Magos Sin Fronteras? ¿Te acuerdas? ¿Cuándo fue la primera vez que
Sí, claro. Sí, es algo que tengo bien marcado todo el tiempo, desde siempre.
I just know the first time that he heard about Magicians Without Borders, and he said that he has it on his mind. So we'll hear. Cuéntanos.
Pues fíjate que yo ingresé al programa de Ángeles Descalzos a eso de los 10, 11 años exactamente. Y tenía como 8 meses, 9 meses de estar ahí como miembro del programa. Y de repente surgió los comentarios de que un grupo de magos iba a llegar al programa y iban a seleccionar cierta cantidad de niños para poder ser parte de ese programa que iban a impulsar dentro del programa.
Okay. Déjame traducir rapidísimo. So he's saying that he went into that little foundation called Ángeles Descalzos from Asoprosar, and when he was 10, 11 years old, and then he heard that some magicians were gonna go and be part of the program. So he signed up, right? Entonces tú escuchaste esto y entonces ¿qué pasó? ¿Te metiste de una?
Sí, fíjate que me llamó rapidito la atención porque yo quería ser parte de ella. Pero había como una condición dentro que solo iban a agarrar chicos de 12 años en adelante. Y yo tenía 11 en ese entonces. Y fue como que, ay, yo quiero. Pero como siempre participaba en un montón de actividades y siempre que necesitaban algo, yo siempre estaba presente apoyando o participando en todas las actividades que ahí daban. Entonces, gracias a eso fue que pude ser tomado en cuenta y empecé a formar parte del programa desde que llegó, desde la primera aparición de ahí de Tom.
So he's saying that he was too young to be in the program, but because he was so involved in the little fundación there, he was asked to I mean, they would let him on, right? They would let him on. Peter, ¿tienes algún recuerdo en particular o tienes cuando llegan ellos y empiezan a hacer magia? ¿Te acuerdas de algo en particular? De decir, como que tienes algún recuerdo de esas primeras veces que los conociste?
Pues fíjate que sí, hay muchos, la verdad. La verdad, cuando veo los en vivos o veo fotos o publicaciones de cualquiera con los que he tenido la oportunidad de compartir, se vienen muchos recuerdos a la mente. O sea, tantas experiencias desde los primeros días. O sea, yo tengo como la noción de todo desde que llegó con Rob. No sé si Tom lo recuerda. Tom llevó a Rob con él la primera vez. Y desde ese entonces, o sea, son un montón de sentimientos y emociones por muchos compañeros también que estuvieron desde el inicio y que ahora tienen destinos muy diferentes. Entonces, es un sinfín de recuerdos los que hay, la verdad.
Okay, so he's just saying that he has a bunch of memories that every time that he hears or sees something about Magicians Without Borders, all the memories come jumping into his mind because he has lived so many things and he can see how all the people that were with him in the program now have different futures, but at one time they were all in magic. And he remembers the first time that he saw you, Tom, and Rob. He's saying that you were there with Rob.
Oh yeah, Rob. Yeah. Oh my goodness, long time ago. Yeah. It's my memory right now, maybe because we were talking about the ball and vase, was a routine that Peter and Zumba developed with the ball and vase, and it was really wonderful. It was a trick, like $1.50 little trick. They did like 12 minutes of ball and vase routine. It was amazing. It was very funny, and they developed two completely different characters. One was like the big magician he was going to do. And Peter was messing with him and messing up his trick. And then the magician messed him up. You know, it was just perfecto. And they made it up themselves. It was terrific.
¿Tú te acuerdas de ese proceso, Peter? ¿Tú te acuerdas del proceso de estar creando ese juego?
Sí, claro. O sea, son cosas que quedan como grabadas. Es como aprender a andar en bicicleta, nunca se te olvida. O sea, son cosas que te marcan totalmente.
Okay.
¿Todavía puedes hacer un show, Peter?
Sí,
Peter,
claro. Cuando quieras y como quieras.
Do you show magic to the people you teach dance to? Do you show them magic?
Fíjate que últimamente sí no he podido, no he tenido la oportunidad. Pero
Eso
sí,
no
de vez
good surprise.
Ajá. De vez en cuando me pongo ahí, saco la maleta, agarro mis cositas, practico algunas cosas. Más cuando me siento un poco estresado y necesito relajar un poco el cuerpo. Me sirve un montón, te lo juro.
He says he performs a little bit, he practices a little when he gets stressed out. He just goes back into the old magic bag.
Yeah, the maleta. When I remember Peter or Maricela or Astrid or somebody, I asked them, why do you like doing magic? And they said, when I'm doing magic, I forget my problems. I'm just totally doing the magic, and the problemento, are gone. And I just was reminded of that when Peter said what he just said. When he gets stressed out, maybe he goes back into his magic bag. Yeah.
I think that's so true, right? Okay, that when we're performing or doing magic, we're just in the moment performing magic. Tú, Peter, sientes que cuando estás en el escenario, cuando estabas como presentando magia, que tú realmente podías convertirte en otra persona por ese momentico, que tú realmente en ese momento estabas actuando como alguien diferente?
Definitivamente. Era como entrar en otro personaje, literalmente. O sea, era una transformación completa de un punto, o sea, en teoría normal, a cambiarlo totalmente a un punto extravagante en el que el objetivo principal era sacar una sonrisa bien grande a todos los que estaban ahí. O sea, todo se transformaba, en serio, todo se transformaba. Era bien diferente. O sea, se sentía el cambio de nivel de estar abajo del escenario, por decirlo así, y subir y sentir, o sea, se siente la diferencia un montón.
Do you agree with that, Devente? Do you think it's somewhat similar to your experience when you're performing?
An absolute difference. Big difference, between when you're on stage. I mean, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful in what we do, that we're not just taking tricks, right? We're allowing them to step onto a different role while they're performing. That right. It doesn't matter what's happening in their daily lives. When they're performing, I'm the performer, and you have to, attention is on me, and I have to convey a message, and that's super important. And as Peter said, the objective is to bring laughter and bring awe and amazement to people that are watching you. So I think that's super important. I would love for Devente and Peter to get into some more questions and answers. Anything you wanna touch on, Devente?
To Peter, yeah, a lot. Let me see. ¿Dónde vives ahora? Where do you live, Peter?
Sí, siempre aquí en Santa Ana, siempre.
Solo que ya ¿la casa que yo he visitado o no?
No, cambiamos. De lo de mi madre cambié de lugar.
¿Y con quién vives? Who do you live with now?
Ahorita vivo con un tío.
With his uncle. Okay, nice. Entonces enseñas y enseñas baile full time.
Sí, bueno, ahorita no, estoy retomando otra vez porque me lesioné la rodilla, me operaron, he pasado incapacitado y ya en estos días, por la pandemia también, entonces he pasado en stop un buen tiempo. Estuve en un programa de televisión, en una competencia de baile, eso sí. Eso fue a finales del año pasado y en dicha competencia, en las semifinales, fue que me lesioné la rodilla y ya no pude participar. Me perdí la final, perdimos, pero ahí andamos, otra vez ya queriendo.
What is Zumba doing? Español, fine.
Está trabajando en una fábrica, creo. Sí, ya está casado, tiene 2 hijos y ahí está, felizmente con su esposa. Sí.
Okay, so he's working in a factory and he's now married and has 2 kids.
Does Peter, do you ever see him?
¿Alguna vez?
Bien difícil, la verdad, que lo vea. Tengo mucho tiempo de no verlo, a veces, de vez en cuando, que le escribo por Facebook nada más, pero de lo contrario, no puedo verlo por su trabajo y por mi trabajo. A veces, en ocasiones, me lo he encontrado en la calle, pero como ambos andamos en cosas diferentes.
¿En qué trabaja él?
En una fábrica. Ajá, entonces nunca hemos tenido la oportunidad. Siempre planeamos y todo, pero como igual eso de la pandemia vino a arruinar muchas cosas. Entonces no se ha podido concretar.
¿Con quién te ves más?
Básicamente con Marisela, Wendy, Rocío, Henry y Astrid. Usualmente nos vemos un poco más seguido. Tenemos la oportunidad a veces de reunirnos en casa de Wendy y ahí tomarnos un cafecito y charlar de las cosas que hemos estado haciendo y las cosas que nos han pasado a todos. Ajá.
Are Astrid and Rosa, are they married and have children? Yeah.
Que si Astrid o Rosa se han casado, que ellas en qué están.
No. Es que dijo Rosa, creí que era Rocío, pero me quedé pensando, pero no, ninguna, ahorita no. Marisela sí se casó.
See, not yet. He's saying that those two have not get married yet, but Marisela did.
Yeah.
Ajá. Ella sí
qué bueno.
se casó.
¿Y Zumbita? ¿Has hablado con Zumbita?
Pues fíjate que nuestro querido Zumbita no tuvo un muy buen camino al final de cuentas. Creo que ya más o menos te sabes la historia, Devante, de lo que pasó con Zumbita. Entonces, de vez en cuando he hablado con él. Un día fui, le llevé algunas de las fotos y de los recuerdos que teníamos de las veces que íbamos a hacer magia. Le llevé algunas fotos y unos papeles que él usó en su viaje y eso cuando fue a Estados Unidos él. Y lo pude ver, pero eso te estoy hablando de hace un montón. Y le entregué las cosas, estuvimos hablando un ratito, pero igual por el mismo miedo, por la situación en la que él se encuentra. Entonces, solo fue literalmente un momento en el que fui a entregarle las cosas.
¿Y se ve diferente? ¿O?
Sí, bastante. La verdad, sí.
No lo he alcanzado a ver porque no se toma foto. No lo veo.
No puede. No puede, por lo mismo en el detalle en el que se encuentra, ¿verdad? Pero sí, también ya es papá, según tengo entendido.
Sí.
Y el otro, el más pequeño, está en la cárcel, creo. Todavía.
¿Cómo es que se llamaba?
Osvaldo.
Osvaldo.
Sí.
¿Por la misma cosa?
Sí, por lo mismo.
Tom, I'm just asking him about Zumbita and how his younger brother is in jail, and Zumbita just became a dad.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so So interesting to hear the stories of how you met them at one point, and now how everything is gone a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Peter about what I asked Devante at first, which is the experience of teaching a class, because Peter was our first student that became a teacher. So Peter helped us lead the second education chapter in Santa Ana. Actually, no, that was in El Salvador, in San Salvador, with another partner called Glasswing. So here's Peter. The first time he was performing for some kids at our new partner called Glasswing. Then he did exactly the same thing as Devante. So he went then on a tour and then started performing with us for these kids in these big schools in the rural areas, and he had the same experience. Then he had to be there on stage with Maricela and his team performing, right? And then he became a teacher. That we are at a class that he and Maricela were teaching, and this were his students. Entonces, Peter, yo acabo de mostrar un montón de fotos donde, claro, yo te quiero preguntar a ti después de que nos cuentas como todas las vidas de todos que se han ido por distintos caminos.
Ajá.
Yo cuando te conocí para que tú lideraras un nuevo grupo, tú te volvieras el profesor. Entonces tú tuviste la misma experiencia que tuvo Devante.
Sí.
Fuimos a hacer shows en lugares, en colegios públicos, en lugares, en zonas rurales, pero después tú fuiste el profesor. Ahí estamos en una clase contigo donde tú, pues Marisa estaba dando la clase y tú estabas ahí también de profesor. Y quería preguntarte por eso, ¿cuál es la diferencia de tú estar sentado recibiendo con una clase de magia a, bueno, ahora yo soy el profesor?
Ajá.
¿Cómo es la diferencia que tú encontrarías?
Bueno, fíjate que es bastante emocionante, la verdad, súper emocionante. Crea un sentido de responsabilidad diferente en ti, porque ahora tienes y sos el responsable, obviamente, de transmitir lo que tú aprendiste y de ver de qué manera vas transformando la ideología de los niños también. Entonces, esa misma transformación que vos recibiste es lo mismo que intentás trasladar a los demás que están contigo. Entonces, viene ese sentido de responsabilidad de querer cambiar alguna parte de la vida de alguien. Entonces, es un sentimiento muy bonito y realizar esa conexión con los niños es aún más bonito, y que te tengan la confianza y que te den el apoyo que tú necesitas como profesor y que ellos necesitan como chicos.
Wow. Okay. So I just asked him, the difference between being a student to being a teacher, and he summed it up beautifully, saying, there's a huge sense of responsibility that gets created when you're the teacher. We're trying to instill something different in their minds and some kind of a different path that they can take, so that they can transform their lives the same way that they had the opportunity to be transformed. Yeah. And I think that's so powerful. I don't know if I translated it good enough. But I think that speaks volumes about what we do, right? That like when you're as a teacher, you're trying to show them a different opportunity, right? Hey, you can go down countless paths, right? This is something else. It's just here. If you want to use it, it's here, right?
Can I ask? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Peter, how do you think your experiences have shaped your life for the better or just different? ¿Cómo crees que how do you say experience?
Lo que experimentaste o lo que viviste.
Lo que viviste de viajar de diferentes partes adentro de El Salvador, a Ireland, fuiste a Ireland también, y diferentes lugares más que yo sé que has ido. ¿Cómo tú crees que te cambia? Ahora viviendo en Santa Ana, con gente que tal vez no tienen no vivieron eso, ¿cómo crees que te ha cambiado la vida? How do you think this has, shaped you and changed your life?
Pues fíjate que me transformó en muchos sentidos. O sea, me generó un nivel de seguridad y de positivismo en mí bastante grande que me hizo ver de que si quiero, puedo alcanzar cualquier cosa. O sea, hasta las cosas que parecieran increíbles para mí, yo sé que con el esfuerzo y con la dedicación, o sea, se pueden alcanzar. Entonces, y me ha dado una gran facilidad de trabajar para la gente. Porque actualmente igual me encuentro trabajando con una asociación, como una asociación de baile, la cual también puede ayudar a otras personas. Con esta asociación en la que estoy, hacemos eventos en el año en donde se recaudan fondos para apoyar a otras organizaciones que trabajan en pro del medio ambiente, de los niños con cáncer, muchas otras causas en las cuales yo me siento identificado, porque igual de la misma manera me ha cambiado en el sentido de que me ha hecho una persona más humanista. O sea, me ha dado ese sentimiento de querer siempre apoyar a las personas que lo necesitan, aunque no tenga los recursos, pero por lo menos con mi talento poder poner mi granito de arena donde yo pueda.
Can you translate a little, Carlos?
Lo siento.
That was so deep.
Me emocioné, perdón.
No, that's perfect. Está perfecto, because he said that it has shaped him in different ways, but one was that he feels that now he can accomplish whatever he wants, even though it's something that might feel impossible for his situation. He knows that with hard work and dedication, he can accomplish whatever he puts his mind in. Mm-hmm. And the other one is the ability to communicate to spectators or masses, and that has helped him a lot in what he does now, because he now has to work with groups, and that has helped him a lot. But he also thinks that the biggest impact is that this experience has made him a little bit more. He used the word humane, and I think that he expresses it so well. He's saying that with his talent, he can help somebody else, because he knows that he does not have the economic resources to do it, but with his talent and with the organization that he works for now, he's been able to work in some fundraising so that they can donate to organizations that help in cancer research and some other humanitarian efforts, so that he feels that the experience that he went through with our program has made him more keen to that, and he can help through his talent, not only with resources. And I think that was just wonderful to hear.
Oh,
Muy bien, buenísimo, me encantó esa forma.
At some point, I want to do some magic for you guys, but
like
okay.
right now.
Peter, cuando tú tengas que irte, tú nos dices, hey, me tengo que ir, y entendemos, tranqui, te vas. ¿Vale? No hay problema.
Perfecto.
Contigo, ¿listo?
Tengo un par de minutos todavía.
Listo, entonces aprovechemos estos minutos a Peter y después hacemos magia Devante, ¿te parece? So Peter has to leave in a couple of minutes, so we're gonna just ask him a few questions, and then we're gonna see Devante do some magic. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, Peter, yo te quería preguntar, si tú pudieras resumir tu experiencia en Magos Sin Fronteras de todos esos años, ¿sí? En 2 palabras, ¿cómo lo resumirías? ¿Con qué 2 palabras resumirías tu experiencia? So I just asked Peter, like, if he could sum up all these years that he's been Magician with a Buddy in 2 words, how would he sum them up? ¿Qué 2 palabras utilizarías para resumir?
Solo 2. Yo creo que el humanismo sería la primera. Me hizo una persona más realista, y amor, viejo. Amor sobre todas las cosas. el amor y el humanismo son unas cosas que me ha dejado bien marcado todos estos años. El amor a mí mismo, hacia las demás personas, hacia el prójimo sobre todo, y el humanismo en el sentido de que si yo pude, los demás pueden, y si yo puedo ayudar, tengo que hacerlo de la manera que sea.
So I asked him to sum up this thing, he's experiencing 2 words, and he just went on describing what those 2 words meant to him. One was the humane aspect, the humane, being giving to the other, and the other one was love. He just said love. He just went on talking about love to himself, but also love to the other ones, and love to whoever he can help. Meaning that his experience taught him that if he can help in any way he can, that he should. And I think that was just Peter, gracias por compartir.
Es la verdad nada más, es lo que me ha hecho sentir todo este proceso en el que he podido ser parte y agradecido siempre toda la vida. Creo que fue fundamental todo lo que viví ahí para poder hacer y realizar muchas de las cosas que hoy en día estoy haciendo. Así que eternamente agradecido.
So
y por eso estamos aquí.
He's eternally grateful because he thinks that he has been able to do the things that he has been able to do because of what he lived in our program. So he's just full of gratitude. He just wanted to say that he's eternally grateful.
Así realmente, por las diferentes historias de muchos de mis compañeros, creo que yo hubiera podido ser una de tantas por todas las circunstancias y el contexto en el que yo me encontraba. Lo más fácil era la calle y bueno, todo lo que engloba ese sentido, pero gracias a Magos Sin Fronteras tuve otra perspectiva. Encontré como otro camino diferente y ahí llegamos a la vía correcta, gracias a Dios y a Magos Sin Fronteras.
So he's just saying that it could have been like all of the other stories that he just shared with us earlier and of his peers. He could have had any other outlet, mainly the street life and all that it conveys, and that he thinks that because of what he lived with the program, he saw another path and was able to choose another path. And that speaks. That's just so wonderful to hear, Peter. Gracias for sharing that.
El placer es mío.
Carlos and I had a trip planned to come to El Salvador. Maybe in April or so we were going to come, April, May, and we couldn't come. So the first trip when the pandemic is over we're coming to El Salvador. So.
Claro. Peter, si usted dice que nosotros teníamos planeado un viaje a El Salvador,
Sí.
Obviamente en abril, y obviamente pasó todo esto, pero entonces el primer viaje que podamos hacer apenas todo esto termine, vamos a ver para allá, Peter. Entonces nos vamos a ver cuando se pueda.
Perfecto, estamos a la orden.
Yo quiero estar ahí.
Con los brazos abiertotes, así, abiertos.
Y Devente quiere estar ahí, so Devente wants to be there.
Sí, edite.
Santa Ana.
Sí.
No,
Sí.
encantadísimo.
Zumba. He's going to teach us some Zumba.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna que
Vamos a enseñar a nosotros
enseñar a bailar, ¿no? Vamos a ver cómo funciona eso.
Y no tienes que hablar como nosotros te decíamos a ti. You have to teach us the way we taught you. Tell us, don't be scared, get up there.
You can do it. You can do it.
Me parece.
Oh, perfect. So, entonces, Peter, muchas gracias por estar acá de nuevo. Cuando te
Muchas
tengas
gracias.
que ir, pues simplemente nos dice, me tengo que ir, chao. Y pues ahora, Devente dijo que quería hacer magia, y cuando Devente dice que quiere hacer magia, uno pues dice que claro que sí. Entonces, Devente just said he wanted to do magic, so whenever Devente says that, you need to pay attention. So, Devente, we're all yours. What do we do?
Okay. So this is just, it came to my head. Maybe I can best express myself only through magic. I'm not as great as expressing myself as Peter, maybe sometime as Tom. And when the pandemic hit, cuando dio la pandemia, yo hice un video y era real. No sabía lo que iba a hacer porque toda mi ganancia viene de shows y no podía hacer shows. All my money comes from shows. And once the pandemic came, I was really left with a puzzle in my hand. And you know, in the same way that we've taught other people to believe in magic, en la misma forma que nosotros le enseñamos a gente que crean en magia, I too stood focused, and I knew that if I could just focus and be creative and find my way out of things, that things were going to be okay again. But it's not just me believing it, it's having other people believing it as well. And well, let's see if somebody can do. You know what? I'm gonna mix this one up. Le voy a dar vuelta. I need Peter. Will you help me? ¿Sí? Okay. Peter, ¿sí? ¿Me ayudas? Bueno, voy a usar dos. Este lo dejo aquí para que se vea. No, maybe it's better this side. You can see. Okay, there. Peter, ¿tú crees en magia? Peter, do you believe in magic?
Definitivamente.
So, vamos a ver. Peter, ahora es tu turno. Tú no estás aquí, pero tú le vas a dar vuelta conmigo. Si tú dices arriba, I turn this way. Si dices derecha, izquierda, la de abajo.
Okay.
Como tú quieras. Now, Peter's going to do the magic. He says he believes. He's also a believer. Peter, let's solve the cube. ¿Cómo quieras?
Arriba.
Arriba.
Derecha. Izquierda. Arriba. Derecha. Izquierda. Derecha. Arriba. Y izquierda.
¿Aquí?
¿Sí? En medio no se puede.
¿Así?
Ahí está. Perfecto.
Algunas veces, sometimes, your life doesn't come out exactly the way you saw it. Algunas veces tu vida no sale como tú pensabas. Pero no quiere decir que es malo. It doesn't mean that it's bad, because things are always meant to be. And what I've learned is that we're actually a lot more connected than we think. Now, these two are different, yes? Estas dos son diferentes, ¿sí?
Sí.
Quiero buscar una. Aquí se ve. Voy a intentar esto para que se vea de nuevo, so that you guys can now see how different things can end up being. Quiero que tú me digas de nuevo, pero esta vez en verdadmente creyendo en la magia. Yo te la cambié, esta es la que hiciste, pero dale vuelta, como tú quieras. Now that he knows, he's gonna mix it up. ¿Cómo quieres?
Izquierda.
Vamos más rápido, a little bit faster.
Arriba. Derecha. Medio. Izquierdo. Arriba. Izquierda. Izquierda. Derecha.
Wait.
En medio. Y arriba. Ahí está.
Oh, no sé por qué. No sé si se ve. ¿Se ve ahí?
Sí.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, so cool. So cool, Devante. What an amazing.
Excelente.
Fantastico.
Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, we don't know how life is going to turn out, but if we believe in magic, then maybe we can make it the life that we want.
Our life might look like a mess, but maybe it's just the way it was meant to be.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter, for being here. Thank you, Devante, for being here. Tom, thank you again for being here.
Thank
Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing conversation.
Peter,
Devante.
we'll see you in Santa Ana.
I'll see you in Santa Ana. I'll see you in Santa Ana.
Let's all
That's
go
right.
together, Devente.
Let's go. I'm down.
I'll meet you at the airport.
So cool. So cool. This has been a blast. This is the end of the sixth episode of Magicians Without Borders Conversations. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.